Bipedal beasts stalking cornfields, half-human predators hunting kayakers in the Australian outback, and massive canine figures lurking right outside driveway dashcams. These are 10 Dogman sightings caught on camera. Changed everything. Elkhorn, Wisconsin has been the main spot for one of America's most famous cryptid legends, the Beast of Bray Road. Stories about a tall, hairy wolf thing walking around on two legs go all the way back to the late 80s, when people reported seeing a huge, yellow-eyed creature creeping around the countryside. The legend popped back up in late January 2018 though, right before a super blue blood moon. A guy named Danny Morgan was driving home late on a Saturday night after hanging out at a few bars with a buddy. He got a little lost on the back roads just a couple miles from Bray Road when all of a sudden he saw what looked like a wild wolf out in a cornfield. He slowed down to grab a photo since he'd never seen a wolf up close, but as the thing got to the road, it suddenly dawned on him that something was seriously off here. Mainly because the thing stood straight up on two legs and walked across the street. Danny said it didn't look injured and clumsy even. It moved like a person, swinging its front legs as it walked. Danny snapped a picture and emailed it around to news and cryptid researchers. People had mixed feelings about this photo, of course, but investigator Lon Strickler talked to Danny one-on-one and believed he was telling the truth. Was this a genuine Dogman captured on camera? Who knows, but according to this investigator, Danny seemed genuinely shaken and at the very least believed he saw something out of the ordinary. This image was shared to Reddit by user OrangePumpkin6895. It was captured on their trail camera in southern Indiana. They'd never seen anything like it before, so decided to reach out to the internet for help identifying it. Nobody landed on a solid answer. Some thought it was a deer caught at a weird angle and position, but most commenters just said something along the lines of, "Damn, that's scary." But with the inhuman proportions and long snout while also appearing bipedal, a few also compared it to a werewolf or a dogman type creature. But what do you think of this one? Do you have a more grounded explanation, or does this just look too strange to be a regular animal? This footage was caught back in 2009. There isn't a ton of background info on it, but it was apparently filmed out in Smuggler's Notch, which is a mountain pass up in Lamoille County, Vermont. It may be one of the strangest looking cryptid videos on the web. The thing almost looks like it has the back legs of a horse attached to the upper body and head of a wolf. It makes you wonder if it's just some really solid VFX work, a person wearing a remarkably convincing suit, or maybe actual footage of something totally unknown. Makes it even creepier is that a woman commented on a Facebook post of the image swearing she saw the exact same thing near her home. "Crazy or not, I don't care," she wrote. "That looks exactly like what I saw through my yard into the woods behind my house. I live about a mile from the Appalachian Trail. I only saw it for a couple seconds." This dashcam clip came out of Bladensboro, North Carolina. The guy was driving up to his house late at night when he saw this. Some huge hairy creature was hanging around right outside his home, but the second his headlights hit it, the thing scrambled off into the trees to hide. Many commenters agreed the creature looked more canine-like than your typical Sasquatch video, but as always, what are your thoughts? Share them down below. This next story comes out of Australia, where a fisherman named John claimed that he got stalked through the bush by a full-on Dogman monster on 2 different occasions. The first run-in happened while he was out on his kayak on Boxing Day. As he was paddling along the water, he noticed something in the thick brush along the bank, and it was matching him move for move. He said, "I noticed that every time I took a stroke with the paddle of my kayak, whatever this thing was taking a stride to each paddle I was taking. It was following me." Freaked out, John managed to snap a photo in the trees, claiming he caught the half-dog, half-human creature right on camera. But the whole thing shook him up so bad he couldn't sleep properly for weeks. After that, I couldn't go back to the area to check it out myself. I was petrified for probably a month after it. I was waking up in the middle of the night and seeing the creature in my dreams. Despite being terrified, he eventually did go back to the same spot for another fishing trip, and this time things got even worse. He heard a loud bang, and then something started tearing through the thick woods right toward him. As it was running, it was smashing trees out of the way. I don't know if they were breaking or it was hitting them. You couldn't see what the bush was like because it was so thick, he said. And then the creature started making terrifying noises. I'd never heard anything like it in my life. It would roar and then it would take a breath in, but the breath in was actually louder than the roar. This creature just went to another level. It was crazy. I could hear in my head something saying, "Go now or you'll die." It wasn't my own voice, my own consciousness, it was something else. John spent 10 minutes dashing through the woods to get back to his car, stranded with no phone service and nothing to defend himself. The two incidents completely changed his perspective. He used to think the legend was total nonsense until it happened to him. As he put it, "I'd heard about it, the Dogman, and thought it was a joke, but I've actually had encounters with it now, and it's terrifying. That's the main reason I came forward. I'm worried that someone's gonna go missing or get hurt." Now this is terrifying. When that wolf runs up to that dog, we really get the full scope of the thing's size. I mean, is it a werewolf? The footage comes from Saskatchewan. The man who filmed it worked as a fishing guide and captured it on a trail by a lodge. He said they got a lot of bears around there, but around the time of this incident, they'd been spotting this massive wolf lurking around. On this day, he was in the kitchen when he noticed the wolf through the window. He made his way outside with the lodge manager, Dan, who grabbed a firearm. When he started to take pictures, the wolf left, but was back a few minutes later, and that's when Trigger, his dog, took after the wolf. The wolf grabbed the dog and threw her up in the air. Dan fired into the sky. Luckily, that broke the fight up. The wolf ran off, but it came back 2 more times that same day, even after they'd chased after it, firing off more shots. Pretty bold animal, but I mean, you know, I guess when you're that size. What you're looking at here is said to be an actual photograph of one of Ohio's most infamous and terrifying cryptids, the Werewolf of Defiance. Sightings of the creature go back to 1972. That summer in Defiance, Ohio, 2 guys, Ted Davis and Tom Jones, were working on the Norfolk and Western Railway. Ted was just minding his business, doing his job, when he looked up and saw this huge wolf-like thing standing there holding a wooden board. Before he could even process what he was looking at, the creature whacked him on the shoulder with the board and took off in the bushes. 5 days later, Ted and Tom went back to work. It was a crazy incident for sure, but they figured, well, it had to just be someone in a really convincing costume, and they were caught off guard. You know, maybe in their minds it was scarier than it really was. Well, sure enough, they spotted the thing again, and no, they hadn't been imagining things. This was an animal. They bolted immediately and went straight to the police. Pretty soon, a whole flood of similar calls started coming in from all over town. More and more people were swearing they saw this wolfman-like creature. Pretty soon, everyone was terrified to even step outside. The sightings tapered off as the years went on, but every once in a while, there'll be a new report of a large canine walking around on its hind legs, lurking in the forests around Defiance. Back in the fall of 1999, 2 hunters out in Black Hawk County, Iowa, ran into this thing. They were tracking deer near the edge of an old cornfield when things started getting weird. They found tracks that were way too big to belong to any normal wolf, claw marks scraped into tree trunks 7 feet off the ground, and there was this heavy, skin-crawling feeling that they were being watched. When they finally saw what was out there, it wasn't just a big animal. They swore it looked like a werewolf. The creature, thankfully, didn't attack them, but every night they'd hear heavy footsteps circling their camp, low growls echoing from the trees, and at one point a flashlight beam caught its silhouette out in the open field. Turns out, locals have been telling stories of a dogman-like creature for decades, comparing it to things like the beast of Bray Road. Once winter hit, the sightings died down, but those 2 hunters never stepped foot back in those fields. I couldn't find the original source of this next video, but supposedly it was shot in Woodstock, Georgia. The dude behind the camera looked out his window to see something lurking in the woods behind the house, so he went to check things out. His dog obviously noticed something too, because he was running up ahead of him, sniffing around. Well, out of nowhere, something big and bipedal darts through the trees at incredible speed, and the guy behind the camera panics. It's hard to make out what it is, but I mean, that thing moves really fast. And every upload I've seen of this video, the title has Dogman in it. So maybe it was a Dogman-like creature. You be the judge. What were those people running from? Well, they just saw something poking its head out from behind a tree, and it wasn't a human, at least not entirely. The thing had the head of a dog. It was standing on its hind legs. Not the type of thing you want to see lurking around any place at any time of day, let alone in the woods in the middle of the night. This is what they saw. And that has been our video. We'll catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next one.